It's the bag work about apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
Yeah, y'all. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, y'all.
What's good? You two in the Apartment 5B podcast hosted by your man Kill. Everybody, y'all should already know everybody. I got my man Ed from the West Coast. What's going on, Ed? Ed, I'm sorry.
I'm good.
No doubt. Nick in the ATL, what's good, fam?
Ready to talk?
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yeah, bro. F is all smiles for the day, man. This man done left organization on this show, so it's gonna be good. Raquan, what's going on, fam?
What's going on, everybody?
Thing is good. It's Tone from Into the Dome. What's good, baby?
Everything love, baby, you know.
All right, let's go. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we was doing a show off air. Tone was like, yo, Kill, man, I got beef with you. I'm like, damn, bro, what I do? You know, he's like, yo, man, you always trashing beats, rhymes, and life, man. You always trash. Yep, with Nick, with it right there. I'm with mine, too. I would have to probably say the dopest thing about this album was the 3D matrix of the like how they
already.
How they had 3D effect, and you know it was really high tech. It's not that bad. But Tone, I'm gonna throw it to you, and you break it down with your beefers. What's going on, man?
Okay, real talk. First of all, my beef has always been how beats, rhymes, and life is not appreciated in tribe discography. And what I mean by that is this. Coming out the People's Instinctive Travels, the Low End Theory, and the Midnight Marauders, the expectations can be unrealistic for a group or for an artist. But for me personally, in 1996, when I went and copped this album, first let me say I wasn't upset. And now Midnight Marauders is my favorite tribe album, so my expectations could easily be through the roof. But when I heard it, personally, I was pleasantly surprised. I thought it was cool. I wasn't really mad at it. Could have been doper, maybe, but I thought it was a strong full mic album. And we'll get into some of the logistics, throughout the podcast. But I thought it was very solid. I know Q-Tip and Phife was not vibing so much at the time. Phife wasn't even in the state. But the fact you still can put together a pretty dope album with one dude in New York and one dude like in Georgia. You got Dilla involved with it, who was, we didn't know who he was at the time, but dope beats for me. Consequence, solid MC, maybe a little bit below average, I guess. I don't know, but he was able to maintain whatever Q-Tip put in place for him. You know what I'm saying? So I wasn't mad at it as much as you and some other guys, kind of shitting on the album. So what I did on Facebook, I put a little poll up and said, hey, what's your thoughts on beats, rhymes, and life for hip hop heads and for Tribe Called Quest enthusiasts? And real talk, overwhelmingly, everybody thought the album was very solid to dope. You know what I'm saying? So I never really understood some of the hate, man. So I'll let you guys speak your piece, then we can go track for track and we can kind of get into some of the logistics.
All right, well, I'm gonna do this, man, and it's funny because I just did a dope marriage coaching session last night with a new couple, and one of the things I had to teach the couple was let's watch the words we use. It's not hate, Tone. Like hate. Here's the worst part. I hate the word hate because it was invented by Puff when we was like, nah, man, your shit is whack, and it was like, well, then you hating because you broke and we rich, and ever since then, if you don't like something, Royce even said it in New Prime. If you like it nowadays, you dick ride. If you don't like it, you hate it. It wasn't hate. I love Tribe. You're one of my top 5 favorite groups, but I am gonna call a spade a spade. Now,
how about habitual line crossing? Can we use that word? Habitual line crossing? Was that word? Is that a better word for hate?
Line crossing. But here's my beef. I know what my beef with beats, rhymes, and life was. It was just all over the place. Coming off of, because I feel you, Tone, what you're saying, the expectations, but yo, they met the expectations before because Low End Theory was crazy. And I didn't know if they'd be able to match that. And in my opinion, Midnight is better than Low End Theory. You know what I mean? So even though they had the expectations, they proven before that they could not only match it, but in my thought, exceed those expectations. But I do think all those other pieces do come into play. Phife not being in Atlanta. My man Vic said it best. Tribe Called Quest broke up after Midnight Marauders. We just didn't know it yet. You know what I'm saying? It's like when a couple gets divorced. They've usually been separated for a while before the announcement comes out. So to me, these dudes were already out of pocket. Tip all of a sudden now saying it's produced by the Abstract, is no longer produced by a Tribe Called Quest. To me, that's Tip saying, screw all this, being down for the team. Phife even said it in an interview. He said that it went from being a democracy to a dictatorship during this album. And it went from being a Tribe Called Quest to it being on some old Diana Ross in the Supremes. And it was Q-Tip in a Tribe Called Quest. So, the chemistry wasn't there. Phife was saying he'd fly to New York for sessions and they'd be canceled. And nobody would even tell him. So he said at that point, I was like, yo, screw it, But to me, there's so many different moving parts with this album, and to me, that's why it wasn't dope. One of the key things I always bring up was if those beats that Tip was given, the Crooklyn Dodgers, Mobb Deep, Craig Mack, the Nas joint, if those beats was on Beats, Rhymes, and Life, we talking about a whole nother album, in my opinion, at least beat-wise. You know what I mean? They just formed the UMA, who at the time to me, and y'all know I love Dilla, but, I just don't feel like the collective, and even if you peep it, it says produced by the UMA. This is the first time that something didn't say produced by a Tribe Called Quest. So to me, it was just too many moving parts. But we'll get into that. My man Vegas joined us. What's going on, good brother?
What's up, man?
Everything is good, man. So Nick, why don't we just talk about first reactions? Since Tone brought up the poll, why don't we just talk about what were your first reactions to Beats, Rhymes, and Life? Were you disappointed or not?
Yeah, I was slightly disappointed only because I love Tribe. I think it was like summer '96, like the Olympics was in Atlanta, so I was ready to pump some new Tribe. Why these Olympics down here, and it didn't hit. You know what I mean? But like he said, following Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders that's tough to top or even equal. So I'll give them a break on that. But overall, even with the singles, what was the lead single? The Once Again, or was it Stressed Out? Yeah, even the Once single Again didn't grab my ear. Hell yeah, new Tribe. So for me, I was slightly disappointed when I first heard it.
Yeah, and real quick too, for me it was also the rhymes. Even with Phony Rappers and like Tone said, we'll get into it, track by track. But even the rhymes, it just didn't even seem like it seemed like nobody wanted to do this album. It was one of them functions you got to go to because you drag you to, and you really don't want to even be there in the first place. Because I do think again these dudes are talented enough to top it. Because like I said, if we would have had those beats for Crooklyn Dodgers and those joints, we'd be talking about this album in a different way. But Ed, what do you think? First reactions to Beats, Rhymes, and Life?
I mean, my first reaction, I was with you. I wasn't necessarily mad at Beats, Rhymes, and Life. I thought it was a good album. I didn't think it was a dope album. And funny enough, as far as it being Tribe's fourth album, that's where it comes in line to me. It's better than Moment of Truth. I mean, the Love Movement.
Love Movement, yeah. The Forgotten, the trash, yeah.
Much better than that last shit.
Knew they were coming.
For me, it falls right. I mean, it's number 4. It falls 4 as far as my favorite Tribe album. I wasn't mad at it. It definitely was not Midnight Marauders. The production was definitely different. You got a completely different person working the majority of production. The beats were different. It was to me, it was a little bit more trying to gain a little bit more of a radio crowd, because I think the actual single says it all. So it looks like that's the angle they were kind of going for, or whatever the case may be. But I wasn't necessarily mad at it. I didn't think it was a dope album, but I thought it was a pretty good album. Well, good, not pretty good. I thought it was a good album.
All right, what about you, Ed?
Yeah, man, I thought this album just got unfairly shitted on, man. To be honest, when it came out, I liked it. I think the album as a whole was better than the singles that were released. The album flows really well. One thing that I would say it took from Midnight Marauders was how Midnight Marauders flowed really well, and I feel like this album had that too. I feel like, kind of going into what Kill was saying about what Fife was like, yeah, Q-Tip was trying to take over and whatnot. Honestly, I look at it a little different, because I think Q-Tip was in the studio, he had brought Dilla in, and Uma, I think Ali Shaheed Muhammad was involved with that as well.
Yeah.
So it was 3 of them. I'm not sure if it was anyone else. And then Fife was in Atlanta. So if he kind of felt left out, I feel like maybe it was his own doing. And you could tell, I think Fife peaked on Midnight Marauders. And not saying he didn't have dope rhymes on Beats, Rhymes, and Life, but I feel like he peaked on Midnight Marauders. And I felt like on Beats, Rhymes, and Life, he was a little coasting. But overall, I thought the album was dope. But I don't think Q-Tip is the one to blame for that, because I thought Q-Tip's rhymes were sharper.
All right, no
Except on Phony Rappers.
let's not even talk about with the blah 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 blah. I'm like, I could have wrote a better rap than that, and I can't rhyme. Rec, what about you, man? First reactions?
I mean, my first reaction was good. I'm a huge Tribe fan. I bought the album the day it came out. But the one thing that I realized over time was that it didn't have a replay factor for me. I listened to it that summer. That was my summer senior year of high school. So, that's a big summer for anybody, your senior year. But it didn't stick with me, man. It was a solid album, but it wasn't what we thought Tribe would do. And then, like you guys said, we found out later that there was a whole bunch of issues going on where they wasn't recording in the same place. There was new people involved, and it just didn't. The chemistry for me, it just wasn't there. I'll get into it a little more, but for me, the chemistry wasn't there. It just sounded like it was like, all right, we're gonna lay this down today. All right, cool, that shit sound good. Fuck it, let's go. Like that's what it felt like to me overall. There's songs in the album, honestly, that I didn't even check until going and doing the research for this. Like I skipped through a lot of that album even back then. To where there's songs that I listened to this past week, like, oh shit, this is whack, but I didn't really listen to it. It made me realize that I didn't listen to the whole album from the gate, like truly listen to it. I played it because of me being a huge Tribe fan.
Trying to make
it didn't sink in. Come on, man, you know how you got songs.
I know, because that's how I feel about Comedy Circus. Like I wanted to like that so damn bad, and that's what I hope we could do here is take away being fans of somebody, because trust me, I wanted to like that Common Electric Circus so bad.
Yeah, I bought that album too.
That has probably gotten more reruns for me. Like, okay, let me try again, y'all. I want to be part of it.
So I'm not the only one. Because hey, look, I still have the CD. When I did have a vehicle that was my own, I did place the CD.
I don't want to get too much on Friday.
Okay, well, so either way, let me go back. So no, for me, the album has not gained any notoriety for me. In all honesty, it's probably lost some kind of lackluster. I went back, listened to it, and was like, okay. All
right. What about you, Vag? Real quick.
What, my first impressions?
Yeah, first impressions.
When I first heard it, I thought it was a good album. Obviously, the singles were terrible to me. I think I listened to it because I was a Tribe fan. It's coming off of Midnight Marauders. You know what I'm saying? So it was like a given. But also, I don't remember exactly. It was released during the summer.
Yeah, no, it was released before the summer.
Right before the
summer.
Like June. This was tough. This was like right before the Olympics hit Atlanta.
Okay, so yeah. Okay, so yeah.
All right, so I think for me as a fan of Tribe and it not being as strong as I anticipated, the problem is rap was different also because it was written, dropped that summer, and so did Reasonable Doubt. And I was way more in that direction than I was the native tongue Tribe whole movement. And I kind of felt like that made me listen to it a little differently. Made me look at the rhymes a little differently and say, well, this ain't like what's happening on the Clue mixtapes and all the freestyles and what Biggie's doing and what Pac's doing. So I think that was kind of making Tribe look like, you know, this was really lackluster, especially the fact that they had Consequence in there, and it wasn't what was, you know, traditional. But initially, I didn't really have no problem with it, but it was definitely some skippable records on there.
All right, so I'm gonna throw it back to you. Just want to bring up one point that, just like Rec, I just realized today. Yo, y'all do know Phife is only on 8 of these 15 songs.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even realize that at the time when it came out, but I'm like listening to it this week, and I'm like, yo, this nigga Tip got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This nigga got 6 solo songs. Like,
but it's always kind of been like that. Even on Low End Theory, Tip had about 3 solo tracks.
All right. I mean, like I said, maybe it just all blends together to me. I just didn't.
Can I add something real fast, if y'all don't mind? I just to Vegas' point. What I'm looking at, there was a lot of like good albums that dropped in '96.
Yeah, I mean, it was up
a ton.
Alien.
Yep.
It was written. Illadelph Half-Life dropped.
Outkast John.
But here's the thing.
It was just an era of like really good music, and Tribe doing something that's subpar. I can see during that how that time period you'd be like, oh man, this shit is whack, because up against those albums, it doesn't hold no weight at all.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. In '93, the Midnight drop, you got Into the Woo, you got KRS Return of the Boom Bap. So
Midnight was dope, though. No, I'm just saying to say that.
Right, I'm just saying that. Just keep in mind, like, you know, I don't know if you were saying like it could dwarf in comparison to all this other great hip hop that came out. But my thing is, like you always say, good brother, step your game up. Like, I know when Tip was making Low End, he was like, yo, the Chronic was out, so I knew I had to come with it. I'm sure Tip Styles was dropping Illmatic. I mean, it was written. I'm sure Tip knew what other niggas was cooking up, you know. So I ain't throwing that nigga a bone just because some other dope shit came out.
No. I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying that the fact that it wasn't a good album, and it wasn't a good album up against
in that year,
so many great albums,
it makes it stand out even more.
It's going to actually make that span a lot bigger.
All right, what'd you say, Van?
Let me just add to what I was saying. It's not necessarily the albums themselves, it's where hip hop was. Back when they released Low End Theory, Midnight Marauders, Native Tongue was on fire.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Even with Death Row, as far as East Coast, you know, we love Death Row, but we love De La Soul, Jungle Brothers. We love that whole movement.
Oh, hold on for a sec, because in '93 there was no JB. That's gone. Native Tongue was basically dead by that point. Like, Native Tongues was on fire in '90 with Buddy and all of that stuff. By '93,
91, 92 still.
But the people were still anticipating those albums.
Yeah. Illmatic's impression didn't hit the game yet. Biggie didn't hit the game yet. Wu-Tang was new when they came out with Midnight Marauders. Like, it was a different time. '96, nobody was really checking for Tribe unless you was just already a Tribe fan. There was too many other niggas that just had the spotlight.
Right. No, but we all Tribe fans up here, though. I mean, I hear what you're saying.
We all, but
93.
Big Daddy Kane fan also. And
check that out, the Prince of Darkness.
Again,
Right, exactly.
But again, 93, we talking about Into the Woo and Onyx Back the Fuck Up, Black Moon Into the Stage. So hip hop was making that turn. I'm not saying it was there yet, but I'm just saying this also wasn't 1990 with Kwame and Buddy and niggas still dressing like fucking they work at thrift stores either. Like, we were making that turn with Onyx. I mean, come on, Back the Fuck Up was not, you know, Into the Woo. We was making that turn. But I get what you're saying. I'm not debating it. I'm
making the turn and being in the turn are two separate things.
Right. I get you. But if one of the biggest albums that year was Woo and Onyx, you're right, but you're right. I'm gonna throw it back to Tone. So Tone, this your show.
One more thing. How do we feel about Stakes is High? That's the same summer.
No. Balloon Mind State was that summer. Balloon Mind.
I'm talking about 96. 96. Yeah.
96.
I feel like Stakes is High was a classic. I feel like 96 to me, 94 is probably one of my favorite eras. I feel like 96 was my second favorite era because there was just so much good music in that time period. That year.
All right, so it's on you. What you want to do, good brother?
Nah, first, real quick again, I still feel like with groups and artists in general, by the time you hit your third album, you peak. You know what I'm saying? So I think we can all, it's safe to say that Tribe Called Quest peaked on Midnight Marauders. The same way for me personally, I feel like Outkast peaked on Aquemini. Stank On It was dope, but the shit was not like those first 3 albums. Most MCs and groups, that third one, especially that third one, the classic, ain't too many places to go, man. You either gonna level off or your shit gonna start declining a little bit. So I will say that there was a slight decline, but I'm gonna go back to that single real quick once again. So,
well, I thought it was. Do me this, Tone. Do me this. How many mics are you giving this album?
I'm gonna give it the same thing the Source gave it that summer. They gave it 4 mics. You know what I'm saying? Because those were the hardest years to mic an album, because I listed on Facebook, there was 21 to me very dope albums in 1996. I also ranked 1996 one of my top 3 years in hip hop. Period. All right, and like Veg was saying, hip hop has shifted some. Clue mixtapes, all that shit. People spitting dope. Drug dealing rhymes and all that. So Tribe was starting to get left a little bit, even though De La was able to kind of maintain when Stakes Is High. Hip hop was shifting in '96.
All right. You know, but here's the thing: so Stakes Is High got 4 mics, and so did ATL is.
Yeah.
Well, they not touching either album, in my opinion.
Good brother.
Well, they made a mistake with ATL, and it's 5 mics.
My man.
Same thing they did with Something Pluralistic. Big Boy said I gotta hit the Source and leave my other half a mic. So yeah, there was bias. The Chronic got 4.5 mics. So we understand. We talking about just Beats, Rhymes, and Life again. I thought it was solid straight through. Back to that single real. When Phife said my rounds are harder than last night's erection, that just reminded me of the slick little shit he would say, like bust off on your couch and you got semen furniture. I still felt like Phife still had a couple little slick rhymes here and there. Q-Tip, actually, if you go back and read, I read the lyrics to Beats, Rhymes, like the whole album. Don't sleep on Q-Tip on that album. He was kind of sharp in certain spots on the album. So I think it's being a little you overlooking some of his rhymes. Q-Tip was sharp on them.
Yeah, hold tight, because here's the thing that I do very well with my marriage coach. Now listen, you said he was sharp in different points. I'm gonna keep you on that one. He was sharp
in different points because he opened up very slow.
The whole album being sharp in different points, 2 totally different things.
Hey, I didn't say he was rocking like Nas on Illmatic, bro.
I'm just saying, this is one of the things I do. I quote people. So you said he is sharp in different points on the album, and then you came.
So let me preface that with this. I got you. Let me preface that with this. I thought he was solid all the way through, but sharp meaning above average on some of his rhymes. I thought he attacked the mic pretty well on Beats, Rhymes, like given what he was given with Phife not being there. I thought Phife had a lot of dope little lines here and there throughout the album, and I think the production was fine. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't mad at the production at all. It didn't sound like lyrics to go and electric relaxation, but I wasn't mad at the album, man. Like I said, I know we'll go into some tracks later, but I just overall thought it was a solid album in a great year. Right. And that year can kind of make you look at some albums like it's not as good as if that album would have came out about 97, well, not 97, maybe 94, 93, maybe it looked at different. But 96 was a shift. Reasonable Doubt came out, a few weeks before that? You know what I mean? It was written.
That shit could have came out in 1974. That shit is still subpar to me. And no, I'm just saying that, my biggest thing is that with this album, what would you like? Once again, here was my problem with Once Again. It's almost like you said, when you're coming to that 4th album, you've already peaked. Like you don't know which way to go no more. And that's a great fact that you bring up, Tone, because I'm like, are y'all really doing Check the Rhyme again? Like, are we really doing this? You on point tip all the time? Like, we really that lets me know y'all really don't know what the hell y'all doing.
Every artist do that though, Kill. All artists revert back. Same way Raekwon went back with that Cuban Links 2, and all these artists, when you find your niche, you do a part 2 in some kind of way. Well, it's a remix.
You do the part 2 when niggas ain't checking for you no more, and then you come back because Ray did Only Built for You part 2. 2 bricks. The same thing with Redman. Now it's Muddy Waters part 2 after 2 bricks. You usually do that after you bricked a couple of times. So
what they doing them Superman lows on every album?
But what I'm saying is that's the same way of doing Jane. To me, that's not saying I'm gonna use the same chorus. Right. It's the same thing like how the Roots did on their 4th album. It was like, yo, we don't know which way we're gonna do. Let's do another You Got Me. We just call it Break You Off and have somebody sing the shit again. We gonna do another song about another girl with another. It was cool. When you bite what you've already done, I'm going to compare it to what you've done. You Got Me is nowhere near breaking you off. That shit was trash compared to that. Because to me, I'm going to compare it. I'm going to.
But the Roots had chick tracks on every album because it had Silent Treatment.
Yeah, but it wasn't the least.
Wait. You saying Sean Tree was a shit track?
No, I'm saying like as far as rapping about a chick.
Oh, shit track.
Yeah. Yeah, like a Silent Treatment.
Damn.
That was a good one. So we go on off course here, but I said this before, man. I had a crush on a chick and gave her my Roots CD because she liked Silent Treatment. I'm still mad at that shit, man. But carry on about the Tribe. I was on some sucker shit with that one, boy. Oh man, she got me for real.
You're gonna find to get your CD back. Don't worry about it.
So that's my thing. So when I heard the first single, I think I was let down from the door because I was just like, yo, wow. Like I remember the first time I heard a War Tour. Yo, I was in the car, like we always like, oh shit, this the new Tribe. I heard once again, I was like, one is beat swag. And here's the thing, I'll say this, and I see what Vegas is saying with hip hop is turning because I don't know if we was ready for those Uma type beats, especially mixed with Tribe. Because when I think Tribe, I'm always thinking hard kicks and snare. From a producer standpoint, now again, as a civilian, people may not even really pay that much attention to it, but to me, Tip had some of the hardest drums. Nobody ever talks about it. They always say Pete Rock or whoever. Yo, the World Is Yours remix, listen to that snare. Like, the snares on those
drums sound like a gunshot.
Yeah, so I think that was, for me, one of the things that I'll also say, well, I don't know if we were ready for that Uma sound, because I'm just like, yo, why is everything so light in the ass? Like, why? There's no low end behind. Like, the sound that I came to love Tribe for wasn't there. So probably me as a producer, I'm always gonna look at it worse because I'm like, what I look forward to in a Tribe album was not the rhymes, was not Tip, was not Fife, it was those beats first, then what they were saying second. So from the door, for me, when I'm hearing these beats, I'm like, nah, man, I'm not even feeling these from the door. Again, not that it was whack, but I can see, I'm just saying for me that the Uma coming in, I was just like, yo, I'm not feeling this first single once again. So that was me. Ev, anybody else got something on once again?
Yeah, I mean, I was trash.
I didn't like the singles myself. I thought the singles were just. I thought there were some tracks on the album that was, of course, much better than the singles. But I have a question for the whole panel. Just like quick question, because I think Kill, you were starting to ask this question, but I don't know if we ever got to it.
Hold on for one quick second. Hold that. I know Ed wanted to say something about the single. Would you want to say?
Oh yeah, no. I thought Once Again was the better of the two singles. But I thought Once Again was probably one of Fife's best performances on the album, funny enough. Yeah. And the other thing, because the other single was Stressed Out, I wanted to ask, y'all have heard the other version of Stressed Out with the Fight verse?
Yeah,
and I'm bugging out, like, how come that made the album?
Yeah, that's another problem. How you gonna have a single with Fife not on it? Right. But Consequence, that didn't make sense.
But that version came out on the Anthology album, I think.
And if I'm not mistaken, on the remix, it was Raphael Sadiq instead of Faith.
Yeah.
Right, instead of Faith. All right, no doubt. Ed, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to, I thought you was about to ask a question as far as mic-wise, what did everybody across the panel give that out? I was curious about that.
3.5.
3.5? All right.
3.5.
Veg, what'd you give it?
I think I would give it 4, but I'm only thinking about good because I think I only dislike 5 records on it and it's 15. So I mean, if I like 10 tracks, I mean, shit, must be good. You know what I'm saying?
All right, no doubt. So 4. Rec, what'd you give it?
3.5. I'll go 3.5 for the top side. 3.5.
All right, and Ed, what'd you give it?
I'm giving it a 4.
4. And Ev?
Me too. Well, not 4, but I give it 3.5.
All right, and I'm at a 3. I'm at a 3.
I got one last question. This for Nick. Nick, did you get a Tribe last album, Nick?
I actually liked it.
Well, hold tight, Ev.
I
want to get it out, Kill. Can we just get to it already?
I get the last album 4 mics. I actually like the last album. Because Kill told me you ain't like. I said I got to talk to my man Ev about that album.
Ev's last album, just real quick, and then we back to Beats Rhymes of Life.
I'm good. Yeah, we Beats Rhymes of Life. I'm not going to take up the show with my own personal beef with Tribe's last album.
But the last album did sound more like a mixtape than an official album. They had like a mixtape vibe.
You like better than Beats, Rhymes, and Life? You said 4.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say a little bit better than Beats, Rhymes, and Life.
Really?
And only because at the time, like when Beats, Rhymes, and Life came out, it's like I want classic, and it didn't give me a classic.
So this gave you more of a classic, the last one?
No. I was just happy to get a good Tribe album after 20 plus years.
Oh, you just happy to get something.
It's don't fall for it.
We're gonna have to do
All right, I'm
yes, and
So,
Big Bro Ev, we have to do a podcast about the last Tribe album.
No,
even if we don't air it,
change
we
phone
just have
numbers.
to.
Y'all
I need your
That's what happened. So we can stop calling. All right. Yeah. So I give it a 3. And again, I think for me, I look at it, and I mean, on my side, I have the why Beats, Rhymes, and Life suck, and it's just I think it was just too many moving parts. Again, I think that they still had the time. I mean, you got Ali's A&R at Quest now. You know, Tip is doing his own thing. I felt like Tip was more so like, fuck Fife, I'm bringing my cousin into the group, and this the new Tribe. And to me, Consequence was whack on the album. That was another part. Like, I've come to like Consequence. I think he's grown as an MC because I like him like better now than them. But I think, to me, maybe it was just too many things introed for me at the table for a Tribe album. I mean, you got new beats, you got some new rapper who I've never heard of. You got, you know, in my opinion, like subpar rhymes from what I'm used to getting from these cats. But to me, so many things can make that up. It's hard to make a dope album if y'all in 2 different states. We ain't in the Pro Tools years yet. So like Fife is saying I'm flying and cats ain't telling me about the stuff. Y'all, the chemistry, I mean, them themselves are telling you that the chemistry isn't there. You know, to this day, trust me, if I meet Q-Tip, one of the first questions out of my mouth is, what do you think about Beats, Rhymes, and Life? And the reason I say that is because we had OC on the show once, and me, Rec, and Ev, I've heard people say that Word Life is better than Jewel's. I've never met anybody who said Jewel's is better. I'm like, OC, what do you think? Like, let's shut all this shit down. And that nigga was like, please, Jewel's is much better. You know, so trust me, if I ever run into Tip, I don't care where it is, I'm gonna be like, yo, what do you think of Beats, Rhymes, and Life? You know what I mean? But
you know what's funny? The way you look at Beats, Rhymes, and Life. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
I thought my sound went out. The way you look at Beats, Rhymes, and Life is the exact same way I look at the Love Movement. Because when I heard the Love Movement, I like, oh, them niggas don't even like each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, yo, I can tell they ain't vibing. I can tell they ain't in the studio. I can tell they not even in the same city. That shit was just thrown together to me, personally. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely give that Love Movement three mics easy. I still feel like the ghost of Midnight Marauders is still affecting Beats, Rhymes, and Life. Like my man said, I was looking for some classic Tribe. Why can't we just be looking for some good, some solid Tribe, some good Tribe? They in their 4th album now. You know,
they're great, man. They supposed to be the
album,
greatest.
5 mics.
Yeah, see, I'm with. Oh, what were you gonna say, Van?
Now I was gonna say also to that point. I think as fans, I think what we kind of missed at the point, but it was happening to all of us when we talk about, you know, that whole era, especially '96, is when Midnight Marauders was out, the lyrical bar was being raised. In '96, it was already sky high. Those rhymes that was on Beats, Rhymes, and Life were traditional Tribe Called Quest rhymes.
They really were.
Back and listen to some of them rhymes that they had. It really wasn't that different. You know,
it really
wasn't. It wasn't like they were these super lyrical geniuses. It was just a simple fact that you listening to Black Thought now. You know what I'm saying? On Philadelphia, listening to Nas on the 2nd album.
Andre on
all the
ATM
freestyles, all the big freestyles, everybody was crazy lyrical in '96, and it was just like I forgot for a minute like that a Tribe Called Quest was coming out. So when they came out, I was ready, but I didn't realize as a fan, lyrically, I wanted more. But they never gave me those levels of lyricism. You know what I'm saying? Never before. I had to kind of be like, well, this is a Tribe Called Quest. You know, Fife kind of has the similes that are kind of like playful. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Now I'm listening to mixtapes where I'm like, yo, this Nas freestyle is crazy. This Biggie, Jay-Z joint is crazy. I think that's what it was. So when they come out with a record like Phony Rappers, which I didn't have a problem with, I'm like, oh yeah, this is Tribe. Their lyrical level ain't as high as these other cats. You know, they kind of, you know, not, and it's not a slight against them. It's just that you got to understand that this is what Tribe sounds like compared to what the Roots sound like, compared to what Nas sound like, and Biggie and everybody. So I think that's where the expectations was really high. Because it was like, oh,
Tribe was coming into the game as MCs where cats was defining themselves as lyricists. And they really couldn't stand up to him like that. There was a lot of lyricists in 96.
And Tribe was no lyricist.
And here's the thing, I agree with Vegas 100%. But for me, I remember what I said. I'm coming in the beats first, like rhymes a second. Let me quote Phony Rappers. Y'all was riding a train, Puerto Rican. Let's battle. Let's battle. Brother was moving with his eyes on the prize. I said, screw it. I ain't got nothing to lose but This motherfucker said but
That's dope. I like that. I like but
I mean, maybe he was in a place lyrically the way he thought he could say that.
Oh, hurry up, kid. Bust your joints, and then I'll bust mine, and I'll be out because I gotta see this hottie. He said, okay. Now check it. Blah, 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 blah. That's what he said. Then I came back and just fucked up his head. This nigga said blah, 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 blah 8 fucking times. Now, I ain't saying I'm not saying it's a lyrical giant.
He paints a picture.
Let the rapper talk.
No, you want to know how to paint a picture, Nick? What is that song that Outkast do? The same exact thing.
Two dope boys in a Cadillac.
Yes,
sir. But you know what? I actually like Phony Rappers until because the cast came out a month later. So same thing. That's the opening track, and Andre does the same type of thing that Tip was trying to do. I was like, damn,
Andre's a super lyrical MC.
I know.
I get it, but I mean, but yo, Tip saying blah 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 blah. This is the same nigga that made Check the Rock, and again,
but
lyrical juggernaut stuff. But
he's saying the dude battling him kicking gibberish. That's the blah blah blah.
Did you listen to the definition of a fool on People Instinctive Travels? You hear them basic ass rhymes? No, go back to the Tribe's first album and listen.
It's Tribe's first album.
And that's 1990. That's 1992.
But right there, it's Leader 1912.
But aren't you supposed to like that? Right? You telling me go back and look at my first high school basketball? Why? Who goes back? I'm saying
they always rap that way.
But I don't think. I don't think Tribe Called Quest.
Hold tight. You telling me that Tip has not gotten any better than the first album?
He has. Actually,
He has.
If you listen to,
look, I don't think Tribe is a kind of group you can really break apart like that. What makes Tribe is the combination of beats and rhymes. They're not super MCs, you know, so you're not gonna get that. Production-wise, is good when you got Tip in there, but really what makes Tribe is the combination of all that shit into one thing. Like, I can't never really, like, Tip is never going to be in anybody's top 5 as best MCs in the world, nor is Fife. They're just never going to happen. They're not lyricists like that.
All right,
I was going to say, I thought lyrically on that Renaissance album was where Tip stepped it up on a few tracks. But besides that, yeah, I agree.
What were you gonna say, babe?
All right, as a rapper who has battled people, blah 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 is what you think to yourself when a nigga's rhyming in front of you.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter what that nigga has to say. It's blah 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 to me, because when I spit my joints, I'm gonna kill him. So I looked at it as that's Tip's way of, of characterizing this rapper, because it doesn't matter. It was a frivolous situation. Oh, you want to battle? Okay, whatever. Nonchalant. Now, again, as a rapper, if you read my lyrics like that, you're not doing it justice. You're not rhyming over it. You're talking the shit.
All right. This is what I will say. And because all of you all know lyrics, second for me. So I'm the only person who thinks Fife and Tip digressed on this album. What is this song called?
No, but let me like
Baby's Fife's Return.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah,
Fife was never.
No.
So I'm the only person here.
Fife has one good verse.
I agree.
Exactly. Butter.
One great verse, and that's it.
That's it.
That's a filler track, dog. The hook was terrible.
Fife was never great.
It was never great. He's never great.
Right, I get that. But what I'm saying, here's the thing. I'm not saying Fife was ever good. I'm not saying Tip was ever good. Y'all can say that he was.
Tip was.
The only thing I'm asking is, and this is a simple yes or no question. Did anybody feel like Tip or Fife's rhymes went down for Midnight Marauders? Just yes or no. Vegas, did you think that rhymes went down, or they were the exact same from Lyrics to Go and Oh My God and fucking Electric Relaxation? Just a simple.
He said I like my beats harder than 2-day-old shit.
No, but
eating booty and seeds like cheese grits. That's on Midnight Marauders.
I know.
Fife was never.
This is why. That's because your niggas can't just answer a question. Yes.
So, well, no. What I'm trying to tell. No, kill. Listen.
You first of all, you're asking a loaded question. So
exactly.
That is a loaded question.
That's a loaded question.
Loaded question. Because Fife fell off.
That's a loaded
butter.
question.
He was digressing after butter.
Here's the thing. Come on, y'all. Y'all can say yes or no, and then you can give your dissertation. But did the rhymes go down, or did they stay the same?
But I'll be very honest with you, Kill. I can't give you a yes or no for the simple fact is the way those two MCs, right? They write according to whatever's going on with the production. They've always done that, and they fit it very well. They do that very well. So if the production is not necessarily hitting like that, then the verse is not necessarily going to be hitting like that.
Exactly. They're going to play down to the competition.
Okay, here we go. I can do this. Too. Let's do long algebra then, where the beats worse, so then the rhymes would have been worse. We could keep.
You can't say the beats are worse because Dilla didn't do the first 3 projects. So worse is subjective. You can't even use that terminology because you got a completely different person coming in to do production. So you can't say worse because it's not the same person.
You tell me not that nigga up here could just literally say the rhymes were up, down, or the same. It's that hard.
They're the same to me.
I'll say Tip digressed, but like I said, Fife was never.
Okay,
Fife was lot. Fife's level was level.
Not the square root of the value to get to the sun. This is a very.
I don't feel like he necessarily digressed.
Okay, but was Nas's rhymes better on It Was Written on Illmatic? Is that a loaded question?
Let me answer.
All right.
The reason why I say it's a loaded question is because within the albums themselves, there are highs and lows. So you can't say that as a whole on Midnight Marauders, both artists or both rappers were 100% just because we like the whole album. You know what I'm saying? Or we consider it a classic. Right. Just because we don't really like this album as much doesn't mean lyrically they went down, or even beat-wise, because I didn't have a problem with the beats. They were different. I thought the beats were changed just to reflect the time. Maybe not. But lyrically, I can't say that because I hated 8 Million Story.
Same here.
I love it.
So I can't say, oh, Fife was better on this album. I feel like he was the same kind of. It depends on different records on there. You know what I'm saying? But overall, I would probably have to say the same, only because that's how they rhyme. You know what I'm saying? They rhyme that way. So.
All right. What about you, Ed? Do you think they stayed the same, went down, got better?
Like I said earlier, I thought Fife peaked at Midnight Marauders, and I thought he was at a decline. Q-Tip, he was pretty much the same. Maybe on a couple tracks, I saw a little bit, I wouldn't say improvement, but I saw a little bit of maybe innovation. His flow was a little different on a couple tracks. I thought Consequence was just terrible, but he wasn't on any other album. But yeah, that's how I feel.
All right. Oh, yeah, maybe that's a good question. Did anybody like Consequence on this album?
Fuck no.
Not one verse.
Consequence has no place on a Tribe Called Quest album, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, he was on like several cuts, and like nothing he said was dope or memorable.
So is it
Archie Jughead, Kentucky?
Here's this. Is this a fair question? Did Consequence kind of ruin this album since nobody liked them? Or is that loaded? Or can
I feel like, without question, I feel like with this album, with Consequence is I feel like I said, for me, Tribe is all about the whole packaging. It's all like an energy thing. So I feel like Consequence disrupt that because he didn't have a good synergy with either Tip or Phife or the beat for that matter. So he just every time he went, there was some kind of disruption. I mean, I don't know Consequence. You know what I mean? So that's
I got something to that, Kill.
As far as Phife and Tip, I feel like they always do a good job of giving you what it is at that time period in their life. And I feel like they did the same thing on Beats, Rhymes, and Life. It just was backed by a production that wasn't their own, which was something different. And production, let's be honest, it wasn't bad. It just was different.
No, and like I said, I didn't say it was bad. I just said with the Uma coming,
it wasn't the Tribe that we knew.
Right.
Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't say the production was bad. I just said with the Uma. And I think Ev and Vegas, y'all make a great point. And I think maybe what I heard then, maybe it's not that they declined, but it's what Phife said himself, that the chemistry wasn't there.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what I'm hearing. Not necessarily that the rhymes went down, but like Ev, you said, Tribe Called Quest is a package deal. So it was the chemistry of you on point, Tip, you on time, Phife, that I felt on Check the Rhyme.
Check the Rhyme wasn't there on this.
I felt on this. So maybe that's a better way of what I'm saying. And again, Phife said that himself, that the chemistry wasn't there. So maybe that's why it is. But Rec, you was gonna say something?
We gotta remember, Tribe Called Quest was never a group that relied on features. And Consequence was all over this fucking album. He had no place on this album. He had no place on the album. It was not the answer for whatever Tip and Phife was going through. You gotta remember that. The only feature on what's the second album?
Low End Theory, yeah.
What we got? Brand Nubian. We got Brand Nubian, right?
D.
Then we got Losing the New School on the other album, or on the same album, but they're never a group of features. You got this cat, like we just said. Where in the who the hell Consequence was? This cat's coming in talking crazy. Don't even sound right. It just was not a good mesh,
right?
Overall.
And I think that's the thing, like what Vic was saying, that he felt like Tribe broke up after midnight because, I mean, it's kind of like the whole thing that kind of broke up Rockefeller when Jay went away on vacation and Dame made Cameron.
Correct.
It's like, wait a second, who the fuck is the Uma? When did Tip Young Cousin Consequence get right? Like Tip said that it, like Phife said, it was becoming Q-Tip in a Tribe Called Quest. Like, I'm not even privy to any of these decisions. So I think maybe that's what it was. My biggest thing was, again, the beats, and I think the chemistry wasn't there. But what were you gonna say? You were about to say something, Tone?
Yeah, a few things. Real quick, I still feel like they didn't really drop off from the style as far as rhyming. I thought Phife still said his little funny kind of jokes and what have you, and Q-Tip still had his, like the first verse of Get a Hold, track number 2, when he started off the Deadly Venom. Let me start from the beginning. We always hitting, so there'll be no extra ending. I hit the mic at the park like, Ray Jackson, all this shit. That's classic Q-Tip.
He ripped that track.
He ripped several of them on there, but the problem to me was when you don't have a beat like Electric Relaxation, a War or Two, or Lyrics to Go, you don't have really nothing to hide sometimes average rhymes. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes crazy ass production can hide your average rhyme. I'm not saying they just average all the time, but they didn't have the hard bangers on Beats, Rhymes, and Life. Dilla had soft production instead of that hard shit that Q-Tip was doing for everyone else. Like Kill said, Q-Tip had hard ass bass lines, boom bap, and Beats, Rhymes, and Life is not a boom bap album per se. It's lighter, but I still thought the production was dope, but different.
Right.
But it didn't hide some of the average rhyming that Tribe can be known for every now and then.
Great. That's a great point. So basically Dilla on there allow us to see the Tribe that always existed. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
I think it's a great point too, Tone, because like I said, if this had Crooklyn and all those other beats that Tip was giving out, you're right. You probably could mix them same rhymes with the same thing we were just saying about that Prime with Royce. If you're taking them same rhymes and put them over a good beat, they sound much better than they do over a subpar beat. So you're right. If Phony Rappers is over Crooklyn, we probably ain't having this debate right now. You know what I'm saying? If Baby Phife's Return is over Give Up the Goods instead of My Beat.
No, see, I don't think that would have worked. Those beats are
fit those artists.
Yeah. Beats. I don't think we could have gotten any good Tribe over those beats. Personal opinion. I don't think it would have fit.
You don't think Tip and Fife over that Crooklyn beat? Because come on, keep them
not Fife.
Nope. Okay, well, not Fife.
Nope, not Fife.
Right, it's no disrespect. I got the shirt on.
No disrespect. I get it. You got Fife. I understand. It's no disrespect. What I'm saying is, as a producer, not too many producers can make tracks for those specific people. Most producers have beats. Like, Give Up the Goods to me. When you listen to Mobb Deep, when you listen to Shook Ones and then listen to Give Up the Goods, not saying they don't fit, but I hear Tip. I hear his snares. They're very different from
you hear Fife over that though. You hear Fife over Give Up the Goods. One Love.
You really shouldn't know Fife right now.
God bless the dead, but I'm just saying. Not Fife, bro.
It's not cute because we heard him rhyme off of the joint where he talking about all the clothing, where all the stuff that I don't know if cats know. Mob ain't like that at first. They was like, yo, why we talking about liquor? This nigga up here talking about clothes. Like, it's like, yeah, but it's Q-Tip, so whatever. But, so obviously we're saying Tip could rhyme over all those beats, but not Fife. But Vague, what were you about to say?
I was going to say you're right, though, because all of those beats, when I heard them, they sound like Tribe beats.
Right.
But even with Fife, I think it still would have worked. I think because we had the hindsight of knowing that was Nas's record and this is Crooklyn Dodgers now and this and that, we can easily say that because now we're comparing it to that. But those beats, the sound of those beats, those are Tribe beats. And I think, to your point, Kill, what you were saying, I think that's the problem.
Right.
Tribe, just like with Boot Camp, just like if Gangstar had done it, they have a sound. And if they stray from that sound, some of us are going to, including myself, are going to feel like, yo, this ain't the same shit. You know what I'm saying? I think A Tribe Called Quest did that. They strayed from that sound a little bit. He gave that sound to other artists, and they dealt with something that was different when it came to their project, and we kind of felt like we wasn't coming home again. You know what I'm saying? It was everything sound whack. This nigga saying blah blah blah. This nigga got a song called Baby Fight, whatever the fuck that means. So you know what I'm saying? I think that was, I know for me personally, listening to all these other lyrical cats in '96 and feeling like hip hop lyrically is at its heights, and Tribe Called Quest felt like something, secure and like home, like, oh yeah, Tribe coming out, yeah, I'm ready. And then I felt like initially like, oh, they trying to do like them. Why they trying to be like them when they should just be Tribe? That's what I felt. But then I didn't mind some of the records, you know what I'm saying? Like that Baby Fife shit, yeah, the first verse was cool, but that was it. But to me, for the most part, I think it was the sound. The change in the sound that wasn't familiar to Tribe fans kind of threw everything off, you know what I'm saying?
And again, and I think, Vague, you had a great point of listening to the album again. And I have to change my mic. It's really a 3.5. I gave it a 3 when it dropped, but I would call it more of a 3.5 because you're right. Tip does rip Get a Hold. I love Jam. I like Crew.
Crew is dope.
Yeah, I love
Crew is dope.
Yes.
Wordplay.
Wordplay is dope.
The songs that I love. Like the song, there's really not no in between with me. The songs that I rock with, I rock with. Like,
So do this real quick, Kim.
Yeah.
Keep it moving.
Can everyone talk about maybe their 3 favorite tracks on the album? You know what I'm saying?
Rex, what's your 3 favorite tracks?
So my 3 favorite tracks: Get a Hold, Jam, Damn, and I gotta go with the Hop.
Yeah.
They had that feel and sound that we're used to.
Yeah.
And the cohesiveness was there. I think for me, that's why those are my 3 favorite, man. I got 4, but those are my 3 favorite.
Yeah. And Rasheed Tumbling Dice did that Hop. Like that was
that thing. Woo.
That was the Make It Move Puff guy.
Yeah.
Woo. Off the Craig Mack joint.
Yeah, the hop shit was dope. Eddie, what about you, Eddie?
I got Get a Hold, Keep It Moving, and the Hop.
Yeah.
And to keep it moving, if you know, there was like some history behind that with, I guess, West Side Connection. They thought Q-Tip was taking a shot at him.
Right.
So that was like a whole response back when that whole East Coast West Coast thing was going down at the Source Awards.
Right. Yeah. Right. Because that's the joint when he's like, I'm not at damn.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Ed? What's your top 3? Ev. All right, I'll come back.
I think it's
Nick, what's your top?
Mine's is Get a Hold joint, Keeping It Moving, and Wordplay.
Right.
Those are my top 3.
Ev, you back?
Yeah, I'm in now.
All right, what's your top 3 off the album?
The Hop, Crew, and actually the Jam.
All right, the Jam. And Veg, what about you?
Get a Hold, Jam, and the Hop.
All right. And it would seem like we all saying basically the same joints. Get a Hold, Jam,
the Hop.
I'm stuck between the Hop and Keep It Moving and Wordplay.
Yeah, same here.
Like those are like the ones. I won't say Wordplay because I think Wordplay to me what was the most amazing thing was Dilla's drums because that was like the first time I heard them.
Those drums, man.
So like I remember like sitting in my man Montez Jeep hearing that shit going right in my mom's basement on the ASR 10 trying to emulate like with drums.
Yeah.
I'll take out
that whole track.
Yeah, that's more of the production. So I would have to either say the Hop or Keep It Moving. Keep It Moving is like I think everybody is saying those were the Tribe joints. Like when I heard the beat to Keep It Moving, I'm like, yeah, like this is what I need, you know. And the same thing with the Hop. It's like it just got that, and maybe it is that low end. You know, it's just something that again with the Ummah. And y'all know I'm a Dilla dude, but those beats would just. We talking about Dilla first out the gate. I remember first reading about the Ummah in the Vibe magazine. They had the joint with the Next, and it was our lead tip, and I thought it was Fife at first. And then I'm like, yo, that ain't Fife. And they was talking about this guy named JD that Tip had found, and they forming this production company, the Ummah. So you talking about early Dilla that I just don't know if it just wasn't mixed right or didn't have that warm sound to it. But
that's the. Can we talk about the Dilla cuts? Because Dilla did Keep It Moving, Wordplay, Get a Hold, and then the 2 singles. Those are the
right.
If you look at the credits, those are his cuts.
You're right. I mean, y'all know I love Get a Hold. I love Keep It Moving. I love Wordplay. I didn't like the 2 singles.
The 2 singles. Okay.
I don't know.
So he's 3 for 5 then. Right?
Yeah. So and I know a lot of times I've seen people say that Dilla ruined Tribe. You know what I mean? I've seen that in a lot of message boards. I've heard people say that. I'm like,
exactly.
That's nothing. There could be nothing further from the truth. I'm like, in actuality, in my eyes at least, he saved it because ain't nobody naming Motivators or Pressure or Mind Power or what really goes on as they favorites, which was not the Dilla produced joint. So I was actually hoping somebody in here would name something else, but we all named
the same 4 tracks, really.
I like those records, but if I had to choose, I'd just choose the other.
Right. Yo,
yeah, a couple of those are like honorable mentions.
Ed, my fault. Tone, did you say what your 3 are?
No, I didn't say it.
What are your 3?
But it's kind of still in sync in line with you guys. I mean, Get a Hold is a great Tribe song, man.
Right.
Crew is my favorite song on the album. I mean, it's in the car right now. That's what I rock.
Crew is that shit banging.
Wordplay is my other one, but I like Jam though. Jam sound like something from People Instinctive Travel. No, we had that whole Tribe feel.
Jam was it when my man Little Mike came back with that from New York. We played it on 88.9. That was one of them joints that just bangs, and Dilla didn't do that. You know what I mean? So that Jam to me is that. But Eddie, you were saying something?
Well, I was saying if we go into honorable mentions, I will definitely name What Really Goes On and Separate Together. And those to me, they weren't good joints, but they had some boom bap feel to it towards the end of the album.
And I mean, at the end of the day, like I said, there was a lot of growth going on in this album. Tip becoming a Muslim. I was reading an article. I had just Google beats, rhymes, and write reviews just to see what people were writing about it. I'll tell you the funniest thing. And this review was written in '96, and this is where I think hip hop. In fact, y'all said it was written came out in '96 too, right?
That's correct.
All right, and I'm asking that because I'll never forget. I was in Sam Goody in the gallery in Philly, and I was trying to buy MOP, and I'm used to going back in the day. You go into a record store, and people who worked there knew the music. People who worked the record store were DJs a lot of times. And I remember going in this record store, asking the girl about MOP, and she was like, "Mop? We don't sell mops." And I'm like, damn, are you really do you work here? You know what I mean? But I'm saying that because a Rolling Stone, so this is Rolling Stone. This is not like somebody's blog or nothing. and I had to write this down because I could not believe that this went through editorial and people who edited it. It says rapper Ali Shaheed Muhammad collaborate with a baseball metaphor, saying I knocked the ball out the park like Reggie Jackson. So you have a Rolling Stone reporter who thinks Ali Shaheed Muhammad is a rapper.
But then again, it is Rolling Stone.
They suck.
Come on, man.
They need to stick to rock.
Right.
Leave hip hop alone. Stick to rock.
Stuck, but I'm just saying that somebody wrote this, then it went past the editor's desk. I'm just saying that one of the key things of me that started dying in hip hop around 95, 96 was the people who loved it stopped being a part of what reported on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The people who used to write for the source were hip hop heads. The people who worked at these labels were hip hop heads.
Say something, kid.
Yeah, what you gonna say?
I'm glad you said that. It goes back to the article I wrote last fall when I wrote we sold hip hop to the highest bidder. Some of the heads sold their influence. You know what I'm saying? And stepped back, collected their dollars, and let everybody else report our damn culture. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of that shit is our fault. And I went into detail about that very thing on that article. You know what I'm saying? So now we got a chance with the podcast and writings and websites to kind of take control of the culture again to a degree. You know what I'm saying? When we're reporting what's what, instead of having some, what Jizzle said, some dude with mountain and the mountains and shit.
Playing electric guitar.
You know, and make enough dope when he's looking for a suit and tie rap. Let's do this.
In a bar, so
like
some back that to it now.
No. I agree with you wholeheartedly, and I think that was huge because when you worked for a record label back in the 90s, they were hip hop dudes. You know what I mean? At least in the lower frame. I'm not saying the person who owned Priority, of course, he wasn't a hip hop dude, but you know, the people who worked in these, you know, record stations and the Source and did all of this stuff, they were hip hop heads. Whereas now I saw something the other day, they named they were talking about Black Thought, but they named him something like Malik. They called him Malik B. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm like, y'all don't even, these cats nowadays don't even do their research before they go interview somebody. It's like, how you calling Black Thought Malik B? Like, you know what I mean? But, you know, this is where we're at now. So you're 100% right. So I think what I walked away from this is, one, I give it an extra half a mic. So I'm up to 3.5. The album wasn't that bad. I just think, you know, for me at least, the chemistry wasn't there. And for me, you know, the beats wasn't there. So like Ev said, you kind of get Tribe as a package. And I mean, I don't know if y'all niggas have been around people going through problems. You can tell when a couple is not vibing. You know, you can tell like there's some issues, there's something ain't right. And I just think that it was sprinkled all over this album.
Which is why I risk. No.
Go ahead, Tom.
Which is why I really wish the original Stressed Out had Fife on, because obviously the group was stressed out at the time. There was a lot of tension with these two dudes, and that was, to me, that was the perfect way to end that album, to show you the mood and the vibe what they had going on with Tribe. So I wish Fife would have been on that original Stressed Out, man, because to me, I listened to it last night, and the way it ended with just the beat kind of going off, it gave me a certain kind of a mellow mood, like, damn, man, what could have been? You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I was at with Tribe at the time, man. So I wish Fife would have been more involved in the album, and especially on that Stressed Out, that last song, man.
But you know, the hard part too, bro, is like sometimes when you're going through, you don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things where, you know, they talked about it during the documentary, like maybe some time got to go past because I don't want to speak on nothing right now and everything like that. To me, I think the dopest thing, and this will kind of tie it into where Ev I know wants to go. The one thing that I was really happy about with the last album, we got it from here, was I got excited when I read an article and it was saying how Fife flew to Jersey and was staying with Q-Tip, and they were rebuilding their friendship and they were getting that bond. Because I was like, when I first heard about it, I was like, I don't even need no more Tribe. But that made me feel good, because even if the album wasn't good, more important than the album, that these two best friends were trying to work out, you know, their issues. So that kind of what got me like, okay, kind of looking forward to the album. And for me, I give that album, I give it 4 mics, Ev. I give We Got It From Here 4 mics. You know what I mean? I'm Ev. Did you say 4? 4. I'm 1, 2, 3.
I ain't even gonna say it no more, man. I'm just gonna let it live.
Okay. So, just since we talked about where Tribe Called Quest, you know, for their last moment, and Vague, I don't know if I ever answered you. Did anybody ever hear they were supposed to make a big announcement Monday and nothing ever?
I saw that.
It was like some clothing shit with Pharrell.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's what I said too. Like, that's the big announcement.
Who announced all this?
Like, Tribe will put out on Friday, like, yo, we got a big announcement about a Tribe Called Quest on Monday. You know what I mean? And I never heard nothing. I didn't hear.
They actually made it on Tuesday.
So that was the announcement. Well, that's good, because I was hoping they was not going to come out with another album, because I heard that they were going
to... After a 4-mic album, you don't want another one? Really? How does that work? When have you ever had a 4-mic album and don't want no more?
How about this? One of the niggas is dead. How about that?
Look. I give you that. I understand that. I understand.
I don't want another Gangstar album. Guru's dead. No, I'm good.
I'll give you that.
He's dead.
4-mic, okay? 4?
Talk about that last Tribe album.
Yeah, the last Tribe
got me thinking. That got me thinking. So what if they gave all the consequences bars to Jerobi? Like, he was spitting on that news.
Oh, let consequence for Jerobi.
Jerobi is harder than Consequence and Tip on that last Tribe album. In some kind of way, it got for my albums.
I heard Jerobi spit nothing.
Yeah. What do you give the last album?
The last Tribe album? 2. 2.
Damn.
I know, right?
A solid 2.
Strong 2.
This dude playing spades.
2.
He said a strong with a pause. Man, this nigga playing spades.
You know what that means? That means peace.
Peace. Because we out, huh? It's fucked up, man.
Yo, you don't understand. This dude still calls me to this day. He give me text messages like.
I'm just really baffled by it, man. I'm not gonna start nothing, but I'm just baffled how many people actually like this album. I thought for sure that they were gonna shit on this album left and right, up and down the street, and I listened to it a couple times. I'm like, maybe I'm tripping. Let me go back in again. The thing is, the cats that don't like it, they quiet about it. Nobody really wants to say it because wife is gone. It's like it's that album. Nobody really wants to say that shit is whack. So, I'll talk to cats and be like, yeah, that shit's whack, but I can't tell nobody about that shit. It's like, yeah, that shit is whack, but, I said it. I'll be back.
You guys sound like, okay.
It can't leave this house. That shit is whack.
That ain't gonna tell you. He was at the mural I'm viewing.
I made the mural. I took him down there.
No, but then Av called me like, yo, the album ain't half bad. Then called me 24 hours later like, nah, it's trash again. I was just
I got caught up in the emotion. I was in Queens. Got caught up in the emotion. I was like, I'm going to listen to it on the way home. And I was like, it ain't that bad. And then the next day I was like, yes, it is.
I tried, dog.
So you didn't like it?
So you ain't like it either? Okay.
So try your album.
Let's do this. How many mics do y'all give the last Tribe album? Tone, how many mics you give?
3.5.
3.5. Rec, what about you? 4. All right.
Wow.
Ed, what about you?
I give it 4 too.
4. Ed, we know you got 2 in the pass, so we already know.
In the pass. I said a strong 2.
A strong 2.
You didn't even say in the pass. You just got a strong 2. So
we got the big and the little joker.
What you got on it, Nick?
The 4.
4. And what you got, babe? 4. So
wow.
It's a solid album, Ev. I'm sorry, man.
It's a solid album, man. And the song,
you know what?
What songs did you like? Did you like any of the songs?
I like none of them.
Man.
No. You said
I like nothing. Nothing.
You said you like the second joint.
You know what? The second joint, I like it until Tip starts the chorus. And how that shit go again? How the chorus go? Come on, because y'all know. Come on, somebody say.
Y'all got. This is a setup.
Y'all know.
Y'all know the question.
Because when that chorus comes, it does the whole song. It does the whole album.
I knew that's where he was going.
He talking about We the People, right? That's the
Yeah. It starts beautiful. It's like it's the beat is banging. The verse comes in. You like, oh shit, yo. And then the chorus comes in.
Yeah, the chorus is kind of shaky.
How the chorus go, Nick? Come on, Nick. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, but he talking about what's going on, man. I mean,
what did he say? What did he say? Come on, all these four mic people on here. Can't one person let the chorus go?
Ev, here's the thing. I got fibromyalgia, so I got brain.
Remember? Oh,
man. All the people must go. I don't want to say the whole chorus.
Here it is. All these people must go. Like,
but I get what he's saying. I was like,
yo, for me at that point, I was like, okay, not dead the whole album, but it dead the majority. And then I went to the next track, and then I went to the next track, and then I went to the next. I just didn't find nothing, man. I didn't find anything. But I'm gonna try it again.
Here's the thing.
Look. I got 6 people up here that said 4 mics. So if I'm the odd man saying 2, I got to go back and do some more research. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna have a report for y'all. I'm gonna write an essay for y'all.
Here's the thing too. Everybody has the Electric Circus album, where I'm still shocked that people like that album. So like, everybody has an Electric Circus album where you just don't get it and other people get it, and you expect everybody else to be like, yo, it sucks, and people be like, nah, I liked it, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm the odd man out. So
I think it was Vic. I think me and Vic was talking about it, and we were just like, yo, we couldn't believe how bad it was, but then we couldn't believe that nobody else really felt like that.
Yeah, so we all have our Electric Circus album, but I will say this, because of talking to Nick, I can now say that Beats, Rhymes, and Life is better than the Love Movement. For years, I liked Love Movement better.
You knew that all along, Kill. Come on.
Nah, you know what it was?
You had to know that, fam.
Because the Love Movement.
Look. If you're gonna point out little things in Beats, Rhymes, and Life, the Love Movement got a song called "The Booty." Man, I turned that shit off as soon as that bullshit came on. He's like, "Yo, you got pirates." I was like, "You want to talk about some unrelatable shit? You talking about pirates? Come on, man, get out of here."
The Love Movement has some terrible tracks on it.
Oh God, man.
The joint with Noriega.
The joint with Noriega is horrible. The joint with Noriega with the ABC, BBD. I don't even know why.
Then he had one song sound like a kazoo was in that shit. Like, bro, what is this shit?
Man,
what is this shit?
All right, so what was the Love Movement? What, a two?
That's probably a 2.5 or a 3 for me. I'll say 3 because I don't want to shit on Tribe all the way. So
damn, bang, a 0? Love Movement don't get nothing.
Hold up. All right, I give it a 1 because that bonus CD with all the remixes.
Yeah.
That was worth the price of admission.
Yep.
Besides that, and Find My Way.
Find My Way, yeah.
Find My Way was dope.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me.
Yeah, see, now that he brought that up, that's disappointment. When you have Find My Way and then you get that album, like, damn, that's the best song. Y'all put it out as a single, and the rest of this shit is snooze.
All right, tell me this, Faye, because you gave it a 0 or a 1. Forget about the bonus CD. Have you ever given another album a 0 before?
Vanilla Ice.
From somebody I like?
Yeah, from somebody you like. Have you ever given out a 0 before?
No, but one album one album was pretty close, and that's Nostradamus. But Nostradamus has Project Window on it, and I think it has 2 other records I like. That Tribe album, I really only like Find My Way, and everything else, I'm just like, I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, it's we the people. We the people. It is for me. You know, man, we got it from here. I don't. I ain't got it. Give it back.
Give it back? All right. Well, Tone, I appreciate the topic, man, because you have brought some things to my eyes. Vegas making me re-listen to this for this week. It's gone up a half a mic. So I appreciate that idea for the topic, good brother. Give them all the information on your website where they can go read. What was the name of the article? You said we sold hip hop out to the highest bidder?
Yeah. But the newest one is it's called nigga.
Okay.
Hip hop's most like controversial terminology, what have you. That's the newest one. IntoTheDome.com, DADOME.com. Same for Twitter. Tony Haynes on Facebook. Holla.
All right, no doubt, Brett. Give them all this stuff, good brother.
Man, SoundCloud is / JREC1. It's gonna be 2 new mixes up this week. Twitter is at DJREC1, and then the IG is Worldwide Rec1.
All right, no doubt. Eddie, give them all your stuff, good brother.
Eddie D80 on Twitter.
All right, no doubt. Ev, tell them what's going on out there in Cali, man.
I got some Twitter, Instagram stuff now, kid. Don't try to play me. I'm back in the game right now.
Nah, man, I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the center y'all got now. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. Well, we have a cultural and arts center out here in Northwest Pasadena. It's African diasporic centered cultural arts center. There's a lot of stuff that's happening if you're in the Cali area. It's called Apt.5B Cultural Center in Northwest Pasadena. My Twitter stuff is Mental151 on Twitter. Instagram is Assis Jalia. And Alkebulan Pasadena, I think, is the Instagram for the center stuff. So come check it out. We're doing a capoeira workshop actually right now, and a bunch of different stuff is happening. We got some pretty big things coming up in the future, and we just like, it's one of the things. Whereas it's like the last scene in Black Panther. We just want to get it off the ground. You're trying to do something for the community and have some work that you do, support other things. We're trying to get killed out here, so we can do some kind of hip hop thing. We can't talk about tribe though, because that's just not going to work out. But yeah, that's what's happening out here. Alkebulan Cultural Arts.
All right, no doubt. Nick, give them all the stuff, good brother.
Kill gonna post it up on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah, you gotta stop changing the name, man. I'm always starting with the gum soul, man. I'm like, yo, where's Nick again? I'm like, hey, give him all this stuff, man.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Vegas World INC, and you can check out my podcast, Hip Hop Now Podcast, on SoundCloud.com.
No doubt. You already know this with me. We'll make beats for food. So 889 on Instagram. I will check y'all next week, man. Good looking out, y'all.